In today's video, we're gonna go over the pros versus the cons of the 2021 Diesel Jeep Gladiator. So stay tuned, guys. Hey, welcome back to the channel, everyone. My name is Kevin Irwin. Welcome back to Max Overland. On this channel, we go over anything and everything that has to do with the 2021 Jeep Gladiator and also building out our new shop. We have a 1979 Cherokee Chief build that we're putting on 40s, 1 tons, and a high horsepower 6 liters. So make sure you guys stay tuned for that stuff. If you have not subscribed to the channel, I would love it if you would smash that subscribe button. We're almost to 4,000 subscribers, getting super close. I would love to make it to 10,000 someday, but who knows? So I'm gonna keep bringing you guys content. So today's video, we're going over the pros and the cons of the 2021 Diesel Jeep Gladiator. I have now owned this for about 17,500 miles. Figured now I've had enough experience with it to bring you guys some good content of, you know, what I'm finding with this Diesel Gladiator. So we're in the Manistee National Forest today. I just showed a piece of vacant land up in Reed City, Michigan, and figured, you know what the heck, let's make a video for you guys and go out and explore some of the trails. So let's go down the trail a little bit and we'll start chit-chatting about the pros and then the cons. All right, so first got this thing, it was stock and nothing was done to it. I didn't have any performance upgrades. I ordered this brand new from the factory, so got all the features that I wanted. If you guys are interested in a video, I literally got, I think, almost every feature but one. So if you guys are interested in that video and knowing what I paid for this thing, buying it brand new, let me know down in the comments. I'll make that video. But so when I got it, it was quite impressive how much torque this had, but it wasn't really what my brain thought it would be. Having 442 foot-pounds of torque is a lot of torque. Now my other Gladiator, the one that the people that have watched this channel know that I had a 2020 gasoline version Gladiator before I bought this 2021 Diesel Gladiator. And I had 40-inch tires on that one too, and it also had 513 gears. So it was a powerhouse, and it accelerated very, very well. So I was already used to that, where with this thing, it is geared with 373 gears, which obviously we know that those are usually highway gears. And I honestly didn't really, it wasn't very impressed. I was like, okay, I just paid a crap ton of money for a Diesel Gladiator. Yes, it gets phenomenal fuel mileage. It gets about 28 to 30 miles per gallon when it's stock on the 31s. But I was expecting it to have way more power than it did. So, you know, we waited and waited and waited for the Rock Crawler 3-inch Adventure Series lift, which is what I have on this, and, you know, drove it stock for a while. You know, I got used to it. It wasn't bad. So we put the 40-inch tires on there. And obviously, that's a lot bigger mass that it slowed it down. But the cool thing about it, with as much power and torque as this thing does have, and we'll get to what I've done to make it better in a minute, was it moved these 40-inch tires much easier than the gasoline version did. I actually upgraded my gears before I jumped up to 40s, because when I had 37s on it, I did not like the power that it had. It was very sluggish, and it just was not fun to drive. So that was the gasoline version. When we put the 40s on here, it actually still had a lot of its power. That I was very surprised with. I did not feel the need at the time to re-gear this thing with as much torque as this Gladiator has, which was pretty cool. I was not expecting that. I was expecting that, okay, I'm gonna have to go get gears, but then I'm gonna have to figure out, do I really want to get gears, or do I want to upgrade axles because we're on 40-inch tires? You know, that whole song and dance, because as we know, axles are not cheap. So I rode around for a while, and what I did, because it wasn't taking off like I wanted it to still, it's like, okay, I'm gonna go get gears, or this is a diesel, we can tune this. Well, Banks came out with their Derringer, and I still plan to do a video of the Banks Derringer system, because it has turned this thing into a complete animal. I did the full kit. I did the Banks tuner with the pedal monster on it, and seriously, this thing is unreal. I used to want to get the Gladiator with the 392 if they ever come out with that. Now that I have this thing tuned, it now has 520 foot-pounds of torque. I do not know what that equates to the wheels. I have not got the dyno it yet. I do want to do that video. I know some of you are waiting for that. I just have to find a time and find a dyno that will actually put this thing on their dyno, just to test, you know, how much horsepower it has, how much torque it has, and I want to do that in each one of the modes up to 6. But I run this thing in the 6 setting and about 4 bars up on sport non-stop. And guys, let me tell you what, it is so much fun to drive. This thing hauls ass. The torque just sits you right down into the seat, and I can't say enough about how this currently is set up. Now, with that being said, the current axles that are under it, I have not upgraded gears because I'm pretty sure I'm going to end up going 1 tons. When I went to the dunes, I was a little bit scared I was going to break something on these axles, because I don't like to take it easy. And in the dunes, if you have not seen that video, go check that out. This thing is insane. With the amount of torque that it has, it is always in the boost in the dunes, and it hauls ass through the dunes. So what does that make us want to do? That makes us want to haul ass through the dunes. And I was afraid I was going to break it. Luckily, it did not break. Now, I can go Dana 60 front, Dana 70 rear, or we can trust these and keep going and put gears in it and just see how long we can make them last. So if you have done that, I want to know how hard you've been wheeling with your Gladiator to know if those are holding up before I make the decision to buy new axles. Part of me, this thing, I love it so much that I think I'm going to keep it. You guys know I've went through a lot of different Jeeps, but this thing is so much fun to drive that I think I'll end up keeping it, which means instead of dumping a bunch of money into these axles, I might rip these out and use them on a different project, because they're still good axles. It's just when you beat the ever-living crap out of stuff, because it's a Jeep and we like to do that and we like to have fun, especially when we're out wheeling, you don't want to have to worry about breaking down. You don't want to have to worry about breaking an axle on the trail, because I've seen a couple of YouTubers do it. Mob, gosh dang it, I don't remember the name of that channel. Mob to Life, I think it is. He broke his axle and it was a royal pain in his ass. So I don't want to go down that road, and I do not want to do that. So that is probably coming in the future. Okay, so power and torque is done. Let's move on to the second pro, and that is the amazing fuel mileage. Let's touch on this real quick because I want to blow through these so that you guys aren't on this video forever. I get around 19 to 20 miles per gallon most of the time in this Jeep Gladiator. That is freaking phenomenal. That's on 373 gears. That is with 40-inch tires, and I also have a bed rack on the back of it. So that's awesome. I mean, I had 513s in the gasoline version, and we got 12 or 13 miles per gallon. It was horrible. So that is a massive improvement in my book. Now, if you're on a flat road going about 55 miles an hour with this thing, you can get 22, 23 miles per gallon on 40-inch tires, which is just bonkers. So that is a very big pro versus the gasoline version. One thing to note with the fuel mileage on trail, because you're not in the boost, you're not cruising, you're not in the power band much when you're on the trail. With the 40-inch tires, and this is why I think I want to change gears. With the 40-inch tires, it does get really bad fuel mileage on the trail. It's today in four-wheel drive, because I like having the sway bar disconnected on the trail. I'm getting about 6, 7, 8 miles per gallon the whole time, because you're not going fast, you're going slow, you're putzing along. You know, some sections of the trail you're going faster, but usually those sections that you're hauling ass, you're into the pedal big time anyway, so you're probably getting 4 or 5 miles per gallon. So that is something to note. Moving on. So let's jump into a con, because I don't want to give all the pros and then, you know, not give any cons. They're expensive to fix. Luckily, I do have a warranty, but I have, if you guys watched my other video of when it broke down at 3,500 miles, I had DEF issues right off the back, so it was in and out 4 different times at the dealership. Luckily, I've been driving for probably, I don't know, 13, 14,000 miles with 0 issues at all. Knock on wood. I don't have any wood in here, but so I imagine when we get out of warranty, or if you void your warranty by doing something stupid like deleting it, even though we all want to, we know what's going to happen. It's going to void the warranty. It's going to be very expensive to fix. These parts are hard to get. They don't even break parts down. So if you break a rear axle and you don't plan to upgrade it, or let's say that the right rear wheel seal is leaking, they won't replace a wheel seal. They'll replace the entire freaking axle. Or if the locker breaks, they won't just replace the locker. They have to replace the whole axle, because parts are so hard to get that they won't just replace it. And I know this because I've already ran into it on this Gladiator. So that was one of the other things that happened in the beginning, was the right rear wheel seal started leaking. To get the current rims I have on here without having to buy expensive rims, because you guys all know COVID skyrocketed the price of everything. I ended up running my Dirty Life beadlocks on this truck. I had to put a 1-inch spacer on them to get them to clear with the 3-inch lift. I wanted to keep a low center of gravity. If I had gone 4.5 inches, I probably would have been fine. But I had to put a 1-inch spacer so it would not rub on the inner control arm. So really, I would have had to do it anyways. So I had to cut my studs down, and they would not warranty anything because I cut the studs down in order to get that spacer to fix. Even though it doesn't do anything to the truck, that particular dealership would not warranty anything. Now, I ended up finding a dealership in Grand Rapids that did end up warrantying it for me, so I did get it taken care of, but it was a pain in the butt. So like I said, it is expensive to fix. Another con is you have to use DEF fluid in this thing. You don't have to use it oh, it's snowing, guys. Woo, yeah. Brap. Time for snowmobiles. Hurry up and snow. Anyways, with the DEF fluid, it only maybe every 5 or 6 fill-ups, maybe even a little more, that you have to put the DEF in there. So you don't have to do it very often, but there definitely is times that you have to stop at a special pump, or stop at Chrysler, or get the DEF in the jug. I recommend going to truck stops because it's in the pump. The boxes are a pain in the ass, and if you spill that nasty shit on you, it's gross. It's disgusting. You don't want that stuff getting on you, because it leaves nastiness everywhere. So that is a con in my book. It's an extra expense. Don't have to do it very often, but there again, I have had issues with the DEF system. I have not had this thing in the winter yet, so hopefully, knock on wood again, that I don't have any issues with the DEF system in the winter time. Moving on to the next pro. This thing is absolutely amazing off-road. As I alluded a little bit earlier in the video, at the dunes, it's an absolute animal. Out here on the trails, it does phenomenal. I have not had a chance to get it in the rocks yet, but I can't imagine it's not going to do well. What do we like when we go wheeling? We like torque, and this thing has 520 foot-pounds of torque. Obviously, that's not to the wheels, but that's just the number I know right now because I don't know what it is at the wheels with the current setup. That does very well off-road, a lot better than the gasoline version did. So if you guys are interested in this thing for overlanding or actual off-roading, going to Moab, going to Rubicon Trail, you're going to do very well with this truck because of as much torque as it has. Just make sure that you get the Banks Derringer system so that you can actually get the proper torque it needs. Now, I have been talking with Banks, and they are working on coming out with an intake system on this. Something, you know, a little sneak peek that I've heard from them is during testing, the Ecodiesel intake system is the worst intake system they've ever seen. It is the most restricted that they've ever seen. So I have to imagine that when we get our hands on a Banks system or any of the cold air intakes and get the restrictive air intakes off of these things, they're going to breathe a lot better. You're actually going to be able to hear the turbo, because I know part of the reason they're restricted so much is because Jeep put a bunch of silencers in there to quiet the turbo down. Like, okay, anybody that buys a diesel like this, we want to hear the turbo. So don't do that, Jeep. We want to hear it. We want to hear it roar. So I'm excited for that. Hopefully, I don't know when it's coming out, but hopefully it comes out soon so that I can get this restricted thing off of there. Bet I'll even get a few miles per gallon back. So the other pro, and I guess there's a lot of pros I could go into, but I don't have the time to do it, you know, without you guys being here forever. The truck handles big tires phenomenally. Like I said in the other portion of this video, I'm so surprised that, yes, I do want to re-gear, because off the line, it just doesn't take off like it should. But once it gets into the boost, it does phenomenal. It does not care that it has 40-inch tires on it. I can't wait to see what it feels like when I do have it re-geared. It's probably going to be a whole different animal. But having boost, having the torque of the diesel, you're able to handle a lot more weight on the truck and with your tires. So that is good news for you guys. If you're going to want to get a stock truck, all you have to do for these things to put 40-inch tires on them, in the Rubicon version, I don't know about the sports, I haven't really researched them because I have a Rubicon, is delete the front fenders and a minimum of 3-inch lift, and then I forget the back spacing that you need for this, but make sure you guys look up the back spacing, or I'll throw it here. Then you can run 40-inch tires. And trust me when I tell you that I've been running these gears for almost 18,000 miles, and it's done phenomenal. So you don't have to worry about re-gearing right away like you would with the gasoline version. So these other two I'll go over for cons. They're going to be kind of together. If you live in a very, very harsh environment, I don't know how this diesel will do out there. When I mean harsh, I mean very, very cold. Diesels don't really like the cold weather. That's why you see a lot of diesels with their grills covered up so that they can get heat. Now, I'm saying this right now as a con because I really haven't got to experience this diesel in the cold and snowy season, which, as you guys can see from the leaves and stuff, is on its way. So I might change my tune on this later. It's not really a con, but it could be depending on where you live. Like if you live in Alaska in a super harsh environment, or you know, live up in Canada where you have really, really cold weather, like negative 30, 40 degrees, you might run into some issues with the DEF freezing. You know, if the heater goes out, because the DEF is gonna freeze at like 20 degrees, I think it does, but the system is designed to handle that temperature change. The system is designed to allow that DEF to thaw before it ends up using it. If you guys have ever shut your truck off and you hear that bzzz, it's a whine, and you hear it for probably 5 to 10 minutes. That's actually the DEF system evacuating all of the fluid out of the lines back into the tank. So if it does freeze, it does not crack the lines. So if you guys were wondering what that noise was, that's what that is. And the reason I know that is because I worked at Caterpillar before real estate for 6 years, and we had to deal with that stuff, and we learned all about it. So that is why I know, you know, all of these systems are pretty much the same. So there you have it. Pros and cons of getting the diesel Jeep Gladiator. If I had to recommend this to anybody, in conclusion, hands down, I would recommend getting the diesel Gladiator or the diesel JL, because this thing is an animal. I love driving it. It's a blast to drive. People ask all the time, like at the dunes when I was there, like, dude, does that thing have a supercharger or turbo on it? Holy crap. because they hear that turbo screaming, where in most Jeeps you don't hear that kind of stuff. So people are always surprised that this thing has a diesel in it when they ask me. They didn't even know that Jeep came out with a diesel in them. So, you know, if you jump on it now, you know, you're going to have that. You're going to be able to kind of show it off to your friends and whatever else. But let me know what you guys think of the pros and cons. Are there any other pros and cons you guys have? Now, obviously, I could have kept going over a bunch of them, but I'm not going to sit here and bore the crap out of you guys. So I'm going to let you off. Thank you so much for watching. If you got value out of this, please smash that subscribe button. Hit the little bell notification so you get notified when I put videos out. Like I said in the last one, I am going to try putting these out once a week and get into some more of the wheeling videos, especially once snowfall hits. I want to do some winter wheeling and just get out and explore Michigan because it's gorgeous. So thanks again, guys. We'll talk to you on the next video. Bye.